Yo, FPL community, welcome to Proper Things, the FPL show brought to you by the TT FPL Pro-League, episode 25. So I'm very grateful to bring you all the quarter century number of episodes this week. And hopefully we could bring you all a few more 25s after this one. Well, with that being said, Gameweek 23 was one of goals, and more goals. If your fantasy team didn't have at least 3 goals in the 11 and that's the floor, then I don't know where you were when the goals were sharing. But hopefully, you got a nice, healthy green arrow this last game week. But with that being said, we're kicking things off from the show with the review of Game Week 23. The first game of Game Week 23 chalked up a 2-2 draw between Spurs and Everton. Richarlison brace, Everton with the late equalizer. Brighton breezed past Crystal Palace 4-1. 2-2 was the result between Burnley and Fulham. Newcastle and Luton played an exciting 4-4 draw. Trippier with 9 points, a goal and assist. 5-0 was the score between Aston Villa and Sheffield United. Ollie Watkins going berserk, 18 points, rewarding owners and captainers. 1-1 between Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth meant that Solanke captainers was sulky this Sunday. 4-2 between Wolves and Chelsea. Cunha leading the Wolves to a big victory. 3-0 between Manchester United and West Ham. Garnacho brace as the Red Devils collect a nice 3 points. Liverpool, mad with errors, went down at the Emirates to Arsenal 3-1. Martinelli and Saka being the opportunists with points in the Liverpool mistakes. And finally, Foden hat-trick meant my boys Manchester City defeated the Honeybees of Brighton 3-1. And that was the review of Game Week 23. And now with the review of Game Week 23 in the bag, we mosey now along to the most anticipated segment of the entire show, the Proper Things segment, named after the show. Here I give you the picks that should be in your team now and going forward, as they are the centerpieces to FPL needle movers for the players who are looking to rise rank immediately. Those are my aggressive players. Spilt milk means they have overstayed their welcome in your team. And finally, wondering picks are the picks you should keep a keen eye on, with plans of bringing them in the upcoming game weeks. So we're kicking things off, of course, with the Proper Things picks. Again, these are the picks that should be in your team now and going forward, as they are the centerpieces to FPL. Last game week, we recommended a banger pick in Ollie Watkins in the striker position, 18 points from the Englishman. In midfield, it was Kevin De Bruyne returning assist, 5 points, and Pedro Porro just couldn't give us the home run, only returning the solidary 1 point. But this game week, we're hoping to go 3 for 3. And we're kicking things off with the Proper Things defender pick for Game Week 24. And it's Alfie Doughty of Luton coming at 4.5 million. Hear me out. If you look at the games that Luton have been playing recently, they have absolutely been on a tear when it comes to goal scoring. Clean sheets have not been there, admittedly. But Alfie is one of the best crossers of the football in Premier League. His attacking XG for a defender is off the charts, and I think he's one of the best outlets for Luton. Now, Luton have a game against Sheffield this upcoming weekend, followed by a double. Luton is not one of the most fancy teams, but 3 fixtures in the next 2 game weeks means you get a free dice roll in Game Week 25 with Alfie, and a premium Game Week 24 showdown against Sheffield. So, Alfie coming in at 4.5 million, definitely should be in your team. You should be looking to bring him in, as this is the opportunity to get a defender who is returning in the attacking side of things, and right now clean sheets have been at a premium. So Alfie Doughty of Luton coming at 4.5 million is your Proper Things defender pick. In midfield, we have a guy who had a tough outing versus one of his most popular opponents in Arsenal, and I'm talking about the Portuguese Diogo Jota, currently at 8.1 million. I mean, what can you see? It was an error-mad performance from Liverpool at the Emirates, leading to defeat. But we know what Jota has been about in the fixtures that led up to the Arsenal game. He's been hitting the back of the net at a rapid rate. He's one of the best outlets to a Liverpool team that have scored the most goals in January. Unfortunately, they were held to just 1 versus Arsenal, but I expect them to rebound in a big way versus the Clarets of Burnley this upcoming game week. And again, Jota has a double game week in game week 25. He does blank in 26, but for the next 2 game weeks, he has 3 fixtures, 1 being Burnley, and then of course a double game week. With Mo Salah currently still on his sidelines, I think Diego Jota is the best midfielder pick from the Reds, and I'll definitely look to bring him in this week, especially if you're planning to take a hit in game week 25 to bring him in. Should take the hit this week, bring him in, play him against Burnley, and you'll be ahead of the curve come game week 25. So Diego Jota is your Proper Things midfielder pick coming in at 8.1 million. And finally, the Proper Things striker pick. Well, he's back. He only returned the assist, but Erling Haaland at a whopping 14.2 is the Proper Things striker pick for game week 24. I mean, we all know what Erling is about. He's still the Golden Boot leader in the Premier League, although he missed a plethora of weeks due to that stress fracture in his foot. He returned. He had a nice opportunity to open the scoring versus Brentford, the 1-on-1, but he couldn't find the back of the net. Eventually, he did get an assist to kind of soften the blow of people who captained him over the other assets who may have scored a plethora of points. But we all know Erling Haaland is a guy who's going to get the chances as Manchester City, my boys, are one of the most attacking teams, not only in the Premier League, but in world football. And Erling Haaland is the standout number 9 and one of the most dangerous finishers in the game today. So Erling Haaland at 14.2 million is a must-have now and going forward, especially with 3 fixtures in the next 2 game weeks, well, 4 in the next 3 game weeks, as he does not blank in game week 26. So you get in this game week, the double, and he plays in 26. So Erling Haaland is your Proper Things striker pick for game week 24. Now with the Proper Things picks signed and delivered, we move, of course, now to my favorite segment in the entire show. I'm talking about the needle mover segment for my aggressive players. These are the players that you should bring into your team now if you're looking to rise ranks immediately. So last game week, we had an absolute home run needle mover in the defensive pick with Moreno returning 14 points from Aston Villa. We missed on Jota, and Isaac was injured and didn't play. So a home run and 2 outs. This game week, in the defensive pick for the needle mover segment, we have a guy who is well known in world football. He's the best attacking fullback in the world. We're talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold of Liverpool, coming in at 8.5 million. Again, as you can see a pattern here, Liverpool do double in game week 25. So I know everyone will be looking at the assets that have doubles in game week 25 to possibly bring them in now and be ahead of the curve. I'm speaking about Manchester City, Liverpool, Tony of Brentford, and not so much Luton, but those are the teams that double. So the first name, again, in the movers, game week 24 pick is Trent Alexander-Arnold. A premium fixture against Burnley. I know he didn't go the distance versus Arsenal, substituted early, but he did start. I mean, it was not great showing on the whole from the Reds, but I expect them to bounce back in a big way versus the Clarets. We all know that Trent Alexander-Arnold is one of those assets, can go absolutely nuclear in defense, and with clean sheets again being at a premium, the attacking players in defense have been preferred over the standout 6 points because they again have been hard to come by. And we all know Trent is one of 8.5 million now, but he's absolutely worth the price point, especially coming into the next 2 game weeks. So if I were you, I'd get Trent in this week to avoid having to hit for him in game week 25 if you're looking to bring him in for the double game week. So Trent Alexander-Arnold, your needle mover defensive pick, coming at 8.5 million for game week 24. In the midfield, I have a guy again, is a double game week player, but he's not the player you would be expecting. I'm talking about Ross Barkley of Luton, coming in at a $4.9 million price tag. Now, hear me out. We know what Luton have been doing in the last couple game weeks, and a lot of players now are trying to switch up to the 3-4-3, and maybe that 5th attacker is not so really expensive. Now, again, the 4.9 million is an absolute bargain for Barkley, especially if you're an owner of Gordon and you can't really go up to one of the more fancied assets like Jota or maybe Foden or Kevin De Bruyne if you don't have them currently. Barkley allows you to have that 8 attacker, only 5 midfielders and 3 attack and 3 forwards, while not breaking the bank, and he most certainly gives you that double game week in 25 and a premium game versus Sheffield in game week 24. So Ross Barkley coming at 4.9 million is your needle mover midfielder pick for game week 24. And finally, in attack, I have 2 guys here. One a little more expensive than the other, but they are absolute steals right now in fantasy. And I'm speaking about first the forward for the Honeybees of Brentford and Ivan Toney, coming in at 8.1 million currently. I know Ivan Toney blanked this week, but it was a hard fixture versus Manchester City, and the double isn't looking more promising versus, again, City and Liverpool, but it's a double nonetheless. So you get the standard fixture and a dice roll with one of the forwards. Toney has been on an absolute roll since returning from his suspension. You know, remember the free kick goal, and he scored again in game week after that one before he blanking versus Manchester City. So if I were you and I had a little dilemma on what to do in the striking position and you want to take a punt to possibly rise ranks immediately, the differential pick, again, the needle mover pick is Ivan Toney. And now if you don't fancy Toney, have a guy alternatively from Liverpool, but however you have to ride the carousel, the highs and lows. He's a guy that rises blood pressure like that. I'm talking about Darwin Núñez of Liverpool, the alternative needle mover pick. Again, Liverpool do play Burnley this upcoming game week and they do double in 25. We know Darwin Núñez is a guy who has the record for hitting the uprights, the posts in a single Premier League game of 4. But we all know he returns points. But again, this asset is not for the faint-hearted, as you do have to have one of a cooler demeanor, as I should say, because he does rise a lot of blood pressure during Liverpool games. But Darwin Núñez, you can't overlook him as he is the starting forward for Liverpool. Definitely needle mover for game week 24. And now that I've taken care of my aggressive players, we move now to the spilt milk segment. Again, spilt milk are the assets that have overstayed their welcome in your fantasy team and need to be moved on ASAP as they are beginning to stink out the place. Oh boy, are they funky. Last game week, we absolutely went 3 for 3 with assets that you should get rid of, with Ben Chilwell returning a Gussie or a goose egg, Martin Odegaard again blanking standard 2 points, and Ferguson with 2 points as well. And this game week, when I looked at the most highly selected defenders, I saw a name that I was shocked to see in Anderson of Crystal Palace, coming in currently at 4.8 million. I mean, Crystal Palace, plainly speaking, are not a great team right now. Eze's been confirmed out, Olise also out, coming back and re-injuring himself. So Crystal Palace are not in a nice spot right now, and he should be nowhere near their defensive assets. With no double game weeks and some tough fixtures and not playing well, it's not 4.8 million is a definite asset to get rid of. So it's really funky there for the Eagles, and this is a definite sell. Spilt milk defender pick for game week 24. In midfield, you have a guy who unfortunately got an injury at the worst time, and since coming back from the injury, it hasn't looked the same, and he's been just stinking up the place. I'm talking about Jared Bowen of West Ham, coming at 7.9 million. I mean, it's been a great season thus far for Bowen, but of late, he's just been dropping the temperature in the building, as the kids say. It's not been a great run for the Englishman, and Danny Ings now playing the central role for West Ham kind of limits the upside of Jared Bowen. So if you're looking for a replacement for Jared Bowen, of course I would recommend Jota being number 1 pick, as they are close in price ranges, but you could also take a dip and probably reinvest the money somewhere else with like a Ross Barkley, etc. But Jared Bowen should be nowhere near the team right now. It's a definite sell. Spilt milk midfielder pick for game week 24. And finally in attack, it's Gabi Jesus of Arsenal, coming in currently at 8 mil. I mean, Arsenal did win versus Liverpool, but it was more error-mad fixture from the Reds. Gabi Jesus, of course, was injured for that fixture and didn't play, but we may see him return for game week 24 and game week 25. But for me, if you're a Gabi Jesus owner, it's a definite sell. whether it be for a double game week striker in game week 25, or maybe for an asset like Solanke that you may not have right now, or you're taking a punt or somewhere else. But Gabi Jesus, again, should be nowhere near your team. It's not a great asset to have. So Gabi Jesus, spilt milk forward pick for 8 mil, game week 24. And now with the spilt milk covered, we move to the final segment of Proper Things segment, and that is the wondering picks. These are the players you should keep a keen eye on this upcoming game week, with plans of bringing them in the future game weeks. And the last game week, we had Kyle Walker as the wondering pick defender pick. We simply wanted to see if Walker will return to the starting lineup. He did, unfortunately, he didn't keep the clean sheet, 2 points. Ulisse came back from injury only to re-injure himself, 1 point, and Solanke stunk up the place on Sunday, 2 points. This game week, I am excited to keep an eye on the Scottish wing back of Liverpool left back in Andrew Robertson, Robbo as he's known, at 6.4 million. Liverpool have a game against Burnley this upcoming game week. I'm interested to see first if he starts and how he goes ahead of the double game week. Of course, Trent is the main defensive asset that a lot of players have flocked to already, but at 8.5 million, he may be out of your budget. Again, you could keep an eye on Robbo to see how he goes, or you could go safer with Van Dijk. But I think there's opportunity to really cash in Robbo for the double game week. But before I make that move, I want to keep a keen eye on him again to see how he goes versus Burnley. So, wondering pick, defender pick for game week 24 is Robertson of Liverpool. In midfield, it's Burnley, Obi Silva, Bernardo of Manchester City coming at 6.5 million. If you don't already have 2 midfielder assets of Manchester City, mainly Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden, and you may be priced out of Kevin De Bruyne, B Silva could be a player you bring in to help cover the spread and limit the damage. But I'd like to see how he goes this game week. Again, we know my boys Manchester City are attacking excellence. Goals will come in the double game week, and you want to be part of it. So Haaland and Alvarez in the striking department, and Foden and KDB are the preferred picks, but maybe Burnley could come in and do a job for you to kind of help limit the damage if you're priced out of Kevin De Bruyne. And finally is a guy who stunk up the place for my team earlier in the season, and Rasmus being your wondering pick striker for game week 24, but he's been turning it around and has been in a much of a purple patch for United. So he has to be mentioned in the episode, regardless of how he performed in the past, currently at 6.9 million. Nicely taken goal again this game week, rewarding owners, but with Manchester United not having a double game week, it's hard to see Rasmus being one of the top striking assets to bring in, especially if you don't own players such as Darwin or even Haaland, or you want to take Ivan Toney over him as well, or maybe the punt on Adebayo. But we have to mention Rasmus regardless. So Rasmus is your wondering striker pick for game week 24. And that concludes the Proper Things segment for this episode, game week 25. Hope you all enjoyed the picks. I had fun delivering the picks. And hope to hear from you all in the comment section, whether you all agree, whether you all don't, if you have an alternative pick. While you're there leaving a comment, you could leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. All support is much appreciated, and thanks for getting us to the quarter century of episodes. So now with the Proper Things segment covered, we move of course now to captaincy corner for any manager, any owner that has a dilemma on who to put the armband on. Hopefully we could clarify that in captaincy corner for you all. Last game week, the number one recommendation for captain was Ollie Watkins. So if you follow the advice there, you got a massive haul, a goal, 3 assists, 3 bonuses, and the 2 points from Ollie, 18 points, 36 points to the captainers. So congratulations to you. Palmer was mentioned, a goal. So hopefully you struck gold in captaincy corner last game week. In this game week, the number one option, I know it's not one of surprise or big reveal. Sometimes the simplest picks are the easiest picks, and it's Erling Haaland of Manchester City. They do play Everton in the Gandhi fixture, or the first fixture in game week 24. I know a lot of managers tend to shy away from those kind of games early morning. But we will have an opportunity to get any leaked team sheet if you're up early before the game. So if you see Erling Haaland in the starting lineup, he's the best captain for Game Week 24. Coming in a close second is the Portuguese Diogo Jota of Liverpool. They do play Burnley this upcoming game week with Mo Salah currently still sidelined. I do believe he's the best attacking outlet for the Reds. I expect them to bounce back after a disastrous performance versus Arsenal at the Emirates in a big way. So Burnley are forewarned from me. So Diogo Jota, number 2 in captaincy corner. Number 3, his teammate, the Uruguayan Darwin Núñez clocks in. Again, if you're riding the Darwin roller coaster, you must have, good blood pressure, because he definitely rises the BP of all his owners. Always seems to be on the cusp of a mega haul, but can't seem to quite finish one in front of goal. But comes in at number 3 nonetheless this episode. Number 4, again, if it wasn't for the price tag, the captaincy numbers on this asset would be off the chain. And I'm speaking about Cole Palmer of Chelsea, coming in at number 4 this upcoming game week. And when he did score again in the defeat versus Wolves, I expect him again to keep the momentum going. And finally, to finish off captaincy corner number 5, it's R9 Richarlison, the pigeon, pew pew from Tottenham Hotspurs. I mean, wow, what a run for R9 Richarlison. He's been on an absolute tear, but can only muster to number 5 this week on captaincy corner. But if you're going Richarlison, you might have, ulterior motives probably to possibly hit the mega haul. But I think the 4 assets above him are better captains this game. So I hope that helps clarify any dilemmas you have with captaincy this week. And that concludes captaincy corner for Game Week 24. So now that we've sorted any captaincy dilemmas you may have, we move now to the segment with the most banter. It's the rowdiest group chat I've ever been a part of. After a 1 week hiatus, I give you the latest update in the race for the 10K. And here in the race for the 10K, of course, we give you the latest update on the standings for the TT FPL Pro-League. And if we look at the table as it stands, we could see Sobos Lads from FPL Trini is at the top of the table with an impressive 1,447 points on the season and 76 points this game week. So a round of applause to FPL Trini. And if we take a look at his team this week, we could see that he had the same problem a lot of us had in the back line, with the keeper being Areola, Walker, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Porro all misfiring this game week. But he had Phil Foden for the excellent hat-trick, 20 points. Palmer with the goal. Gordon, unfortunately, substituted half-time, 4 points. Saka, the haul from Watkins, Solanke, and he captained Big Erling Haaland. So 76 points on the game week for FPL Trini atop the table right now. Congratulations again. And holding serve in second is his nearest rival, Andre Roberts, with 12, 1,440 on the season, just 7 points behind, and 74 points on the game week. Number 3, however, we have a big one here from White Rice Party. Triple Nelson there, 1-1-1 on the game week, 14-26 on the season. Big game week from Salim. And if we take a quick look at Salim, we don't always do this, but I have to see where that big score came out from. And we see in the Dubravka, Porro, the defense was a shambles, with Gabriel -1, Konza 1 as well, but big scores from Garnacho, 16, 20, Foden, 9 from Saka, Palmer, 8, and Richarlison, and then 36 from Captain Watkins and 5 from Haaland. So his 8, his 7 attackers all firing this game week. So a massive game week there for White Rice Party. In 4th, we have Midas Touch from Lorenzo and Sky Saw Redemption by Stefan rounding out the top 5. Dr. Phil Foden by Kapil Ramcharan, Lord of the Mings from Jordan Nunes, Coilas by David, Gorillas FC by Nicholas, and Haven Jota Clue by Aziel round out the top 10 for this latest updates in the race for the 10K. So congratulations to all the managers that are up there chasing the prize. So congratulations again, and we in for an exciting final stretch for the season as we expect chips and a lot of double game weeks, blank game weeks to decide the title. So exciting times. If we take a little scroll down, seeing 14th here, my cousin Nick by Pelican Bay taking a little jump, 1383 for the season, 87 points this game week. And we move down, I know everybody looking to see my team. You know, a little green arrow, we pushing now out of the mud, that is the nasty 40s into the 30s now. 83 points on the game week, and a little blunder, but we'll get into that in my plan transfer. So that was the latest update for the race for the 10K. But of course, with the month of January concluding, we had a manager of the month for the first month of 2024. So let's take a look at how that race shaped out. So we started at number 5, and then we're moving up to 1 to leave a little suspense. So in 5th position, we had Keston FC by Keston. 60 points this game week, 152 points in the month of January. In 4th, we had FPL Reapers by Nicholas Passad. 60 points as well, 153 for the month of January. Trinidad 11 by Aidan Nunes. 77 points this game week, 155 on the season. Rio Punishers by Rian Greaves. 75 points this week and 155 on the season. We had a tie for second and third. And the man who took the crown for January, a little drum roll, is Angus Eve FC by Andy O. 68 points this game week and holding on with an impressive 162 points in the month of January. He is the January manager of the month. So shout out again to Andy O, Angus Eve FC. Well played. First manager to get the award for 2024, and hopefully we could see you back here next month, but not future months, because I'm trying to get one for myself before we wrap up the season. But congratulations again, Andy, and well played. And now if you stay through the entire episode, you're probably wondering what I'm doing personally with my team this upcoming game week. So now we enter the My Plan Transfer segment. You know, last game week I told you all I was definitely bringing in Erling Haaland for Alvarez. I did do that transfer. But then, the Saturday morning, I got the itch to make an additional transfer. In hindsight, I wish I could take it back. It was blowing out Gordon in and benching Saka. You know, that's why they say it's not always good to get up early and use your bed brain to manage your fantasy team. But we move nonetheless. And this upcoming game week, it's a simple transfer, just undoing the mistake of last game week. It's going to be Anthony Gordon out and Diego Jota in. I would like to have Diego Jota ahead of the Burnley clash, especially since I believe I'll have him for his double game week. So I'm just moving 1 week ahead of time. So Gordon out and Diego Jota in.